We talk about Allegiance and their, their lineup and how things have gone for them that game. What went wrong with Enemy?
They just lost the team fights outright. Marauder was out of position a couple times. I mean, it's tough to be in position up against a composition like that because you're going to get plucked, then you get locked in place forever. But the team fight that really started the rolling ball for Allegiance was by that Gold Fury. And how did it start? With PolarBearMike plucking Marauder back into the combo. He gets insta-killed with his med up, with his ult up. You can't win a fight whenever your solo laner gets instantly deleted like that, even without the use of ultimates.
So what's the changes then that Enemy need to make and pick some bans here? Is there anything they need to remove? Do you remove Nox, or do you just take Erlang Shen away and that changes the scenario?
I think I'd remove Erlang before I'd remove the Nox.
I agree.
I think that was really, really strong for Weekend. It doesn't show up in the damage numbers. It doesn't show up on the KDA necessarily. But in the game, it's so difficult to play around that chain CC that Erlang Shen can bring. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them pick an early god for Marauder that he can push the tempo with, like a Vamana, like a Bologna, something that gives him a little bit of a easier time in lane.
Not have to deal with the Ratatoska either is also going to be very beneficial to them as well, because Cyclone got off to a good start there. It's not something you usually play against in the solo lane too often, so maybe that's the focus here, is make sure Cyclone has to play a warrior.
I mean, the guys who are playing the Ratatosker solo, or Divios, he was in Group B. It was Cyclone in Group D did play it as well, like I mentioned, but didn't have quite the same success as he did here. Going to be the Terra band away for Allegiance, no surprise there.
Yeah, no real shock. You have to do that if you are not going to be the first pick, because it will be stripped away whoever you're against pretty much. Anyway, then, with their second option here, they could leave Giannis up as well, I think, is a good call. Or do they ban Erlang Shen here?
So if I'm Enemy, I'm probably banning Erlang, because I'm assuming Allegiance is going to ban away Giannis. So then I get to first pick Soul. That's been their game plan. That's what they did exactly, pretty much, up against Envy earlier on.
I can agree with that, because I was about to say, what if you don't ban either of those, and then you take Erlang or you take Giannis? Yeah. But if you do that, you give the other team the 2 priority picks there, which would be Sol and I guess Erlang, or Sol and...
I don't know if Allegiance is going to prioritize Soul. I mean, Stealth doesn't really play it. Oceans can. I just don't know if that's one of a priority pick necessarily.
And did really PandaCat have that much of an impact in that game?
I mean, I feel like he did. I mean, he was the one who was able to pick up Stealth in that fight that looked good for Enemy at one point. I wouldn't be surprised, but I like the Athena ban because it takes a shot at Weekend. You don't want to give that to him in the jungle. PolarBearMike, that's his best god, is Athena. You don't want to give that up. And now Allegiance has to choose. Do they give up Erlang? Do they give up Giannis?
They have to ban Giannis. They can't leave Giannis up here. So Enemy have their first choice here. But do you even draft Erlang Shen as your first pick? I mean, do you really want to? You sure?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. We'll see.
I want Erlang on my team every chance I get.
But what role do you really want him in? Because from what I've seen successful-wise, I really feel like he performs better in support or jungle than he does in solo.
I wouldn't mind putting him in solo, but this opens the door for Enemy to go for the Raw comp here, because Raw isn't banned away. You could first pick the Erlang, you could flex it, probably put it in support. Allegiance then would have to pick Raw on the back end to really prevent you from doing so, and you're probably not too scared of the Odin. I mean, NA teams don't seem to really respect it. Instead, Nemesis leaves open Erlang Shen. Very surprised. So we could see Allegiance here be the ones to go for the Erlang Raw.
That was instant Erlang. But to be fair, Raw was available last time and wasn't picked up. They picked the Nox later on in the draft after the Caravan phase 2. They weren't after the Raw, so to speak. But they're going to be able to take the Soul that you mentioned away from PandaCat as well. So more than likely go into Oceans here. I would
assume so. Like I said, this doesn't feel like a stealth god to me. Soul does not seem like the kind of god that he would like to play. Plus, it doesn't do a whole lot off the Erlang setup. You want some sort of big damage off of Erlang setup, kind of like Athena taunt. I used to try and ask to play Soul middle whenever we drafted Athena all the time. I'm like,
it's free damage,
yeah, dude, Stellar Burst does a ton of damage. Exactly, I can't miss it. And then it hits a minion or a wall, and I miss it anyways. But Chach would always yell at me that Soul is not the type of stuff that you want off Athena taunt.
Another god they made you play was Raijin. You're not very good on that either. But, however, Khaos had some pretty good games overall in the grand scheme of things when he's been playing in the mid lane. He got into a bit of trouble last game, though, when the silences came through from the Nox. Do you think we'll see Nox again?
I would not be surprised. But Scylla here would also be excellent. Scylla has a great matchup up against Raijin. Raijin's food for Scylla, and I'm a monster whenever he's up in that Taiko Drum ultimate. You've got the setup from Erlang Shen already. Wouldn't be surprised to see Stealth pick it up, though he hasn't as of late. We haven't seen him play it recently. It's been more than Nox, the Kukulkan, Wouldn't be surprised to see the Nox picked right here.
Sobek, maybe, just right here, right now. Because if they actually look for an option like Sobek here, the Erlang Shen is still flexible to the solo lane here.
Yeah, but Sobek is really tough in a Nemesis. Because as soon as you pluck, you just get hit by the Nemo, and then you get shredded. And even with the Lurking in the Waters, you just kind of die. That's all you do.
So what you do as a support character here? Maybe the Bacchus or you
Fafnir wouldn't be bad here. Yeah. I would really enjoy a Fafnir pick with the Soul. Instead, it is going to be the Scylla. We get to see the MLC Scylla. I'm hyped, man. This is going to be fun.
We'll see what it can do with it, because I do like the call of the Fafnir here, and I wonder if enemy will recognize that. Obviously, utilizing the Sol as well, if you go for that Fafnir pick for PolarBearMike, that could really help him out. Enemy, meanwhile, though, they need their solo laner, and they also still need their support here.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the Bacchus banned away if you're not going to be selecting it for yourself as Allegiance, but they will have the first pick coming out of the ban phase, so you may just want to throw one away here, basically. Throw a Vamana ban out there, something that Cyclone doesn't want to play, and then it allow enemy to kind of show their cards.
Well, it's going to be the Bacchus first of all here. And that actually doesn't give anything away from Allegiance for the most part. I'm surprised they did that. I was thinking maybe General Pain on the Guan Yu could end up happening here.
Very true. I would really like Guan Yu for enemy's composition. Really just add that sustain onto it. Make it so you can take those extended team fights and not really worry about it.
And also getting to the backline on the Guan Yu as well when the initiation happens is so useful to like disrupt Scylla and Sol, for example, who are going to want to sit there and just get off that free damage.
Without a doubt. It would really work out very, very well. I'd like to see Cyclone pick up Vamana here. If that Erlang Shen's going into the jungle, Vamana has been so successful. I really would like to see him on that. Very surprised to see the Serket ban. That was like, I know Weekend plays Serket. I mean, it's like it was his old logo and stuff.
Yeah.
But the last few times the Weekend's played Serket, it has not worked out. With the way Weekend's playstyle has changed to giving up his farm to allow his team to get the farm and then him playing the setup, that doesn't work on Serket.
But at the same time, if you are thinking about going Guan Yu or sustaining the support role, you do want to take away a little bit of anti-healing that could come into play. And it also says that enemy are like, listen, we don't 100% believe that Erlang Shen is jungle this game.
Very true. Amaterasu going to be the ban, not going to be looking for that for Marauder. I guess Cyclone, whatever he's thinking about playing, doesn't want to go up against that Amaterasu. I feel like Guan Yu would have been the better ban in this scenario. I'm really on board with what you're putting down.
Although there's Vamana and some Wukong from Marauder, the two that he will more than likely default to at this stage after the Amaterasu being taken out as well. And he also has to pick it in to whatever Cyclone will play, because Cyclone will probably hold that last pick for himself here.
I would like to see them just insta-lock Vamana after, if it's not banned away here. Vamana, I mean, the two winningest solo lane gods during the online portion, Amaterasu and Vamana, not far behind. There's the Vamana ban. I mean, he was so dominant during the offline group stages here at LAN. Not surprised to see that ban whatsoever.
I predict that, like, if Allegiance do not pick their solo laner right now, we'll see Marauder lock in some Wukong. It's just all-round useful in any given scenario for the most part.
Sure.
So it's a nice, safe, easy pick.
Guan Yu is a great pick here for Allegiance, by the way. I mean, Fafnir is the kind of more obvious choice, I think, but Guan Yu could work really well. The setup's decent enough with Cavalry Charge. You're going to be able to do it enough. Instead, it is going to be the Sobek.
Okay.
Very risky. Can work really well in a Nemesis. If you pluck the Nemesis and then are able to catch the dash with your Tail Whip, can really set up a lot of stuff. It is good setup for the Scylla.
I guess it's also the fact that they wanted Sobek because enemy could have gone Sobek as well here. With Raijin Nemesis, you've got the standard Sobek composition that he falls into perfectly. They could have banned that one away for themselves if they wanted to, but I guess, you know, they decided they wanted them for them.
It's just so tough, man, because you just use Charge Prey as Sobek, you get instant Nem ulted into the instant Tycho drums, and you just die. You just get erased off the map.
Say hello to Root and Cripple for days from Erlang Shen and Scylla. And
Very
then you
true.
got Tail Whips to follow it up if you need be. It will be some Wukong from Marauder, as I kind of expected there. If he has to go in blind, he's always going to go with some Wukong. And then the Khepri will round out this composition for enemies. So they do have the revive function, which will limit the amount of resets Scylla will get.
I really like enemies' composition if they can play it the way you want to. You know what I mean? Khepri is definitely the more defensive guardian. Enemy has no engage on this composition whatsoever. They are basically banking on PolarBearMike missing the pluck.
That's a really good point.
That's the engage for enemy right here, is letting PolarBearMike engage himself, and then you blow him up and win the team fight from there.
But it doesn't have to be just PolarBearMike who engages. Oh, it's going to be Thor, so it's Erlang Shen solo. So already, when you talk about engage now, Allegiance have all of the engage.
Allegiance has great engage. They've got everything you need in a team comp outside of sustain. Basically, that's really all they're lacking. Pain has to be very careful with these Khepri ultimates, by the way, because worst case scenario is they kill a target with the Scarab's Blessing on it, and then just wait for the revive. Yeah, Stealth just sits there and is like, yes, and just eats them up, gets the instant reset, also hits you with it.
Yes.
And then it's just a horrible team fight from there. However, if you can save off the I'm a Monster instead of the Crush, it can turn a team fight instantly.
Well, enemy season could come to an end right in this game. Allegiance have the opportunity to take them out of the running for Super Regionals and the World Championships at the same time here. That's how much this game means to both these two teams right now.
Unbelievable. I mean, who would have thought with the way Enemy started off Season 3, they go to DreamHack, they look good there, they force Sword all 5 games. They come to the Epsilon Invitational here in Atlanta, they take Panthera to 5 games. Who would have thought after that 5-game set that Enemy would be fighting for their world's lives?
And who would have thought Allegiance, a team that was made up of popular streamers at one point in time, would be walking in with the shot of going to the Super Regionals with pretty much a whole different roster than what they started the year with.
That's one of the beauties of Smite, man. You can't write off any team. You can't pencil in any team. Well, you can pencil in some teams. I mean, you could pencil in Enemy.
I don't talk about teams
not
anymore.
Enemy, rather.
I don't talk about teams anymore because when I do, they all do badly. I'm like, I think this team are really good now, and they lose.
Well, then you could just use that to your advantage.
I used to say
you
were
could play
good.
like a black market.
See, if you notice, I used to say you were good, and then you lost all the time.
You said I was good.
I did, and that's why you started losing. So now
That's
I'm trying
very
to say,
kind of you.
now I'm trying to say
Thank you.
you're bad to see if it makes you better, but it's not working.
That's because you want me to carry you in our assault game later.
Now I just want you to carry him in casting, so it would have to work.
That's true. I'm doing my best here, man.
You're really not. Is this really your best?
So Shattered gonna be starting up the speed buff here. No Wraths on either side, or excuse me, on enemy side. You see the Wrath on there for CycloneSpin. So it is gonna be Sobek solo, Erlang Shen support. I like this composition a lot more. You're gonna have the tankiness necessary to survive a little bit longer off that Nemesis ult as the Sobek solo. Have that extra health, have those extra levels, and the PolarBearMike's going to be around to set up for that Scylla a lot more with this Erlang.
For me, I think the flex option between where Erlang could go was so useful here for them, because I think Cyclone and PolarBearMike were both happy to play either Erlang or Sobek, dependent on what the solo lane matchup was going to be. And I think that's the big key here, is that we will end up seeing Shattered camp the solo lane a lot into CycloneSpin, and that helps out Allegiance on the rest of the map here.
I definitely agree with that. We're going to have to see if Allegiance can really make the plays with MLC Stealth. That's, again, we say it almost every time with Allegiance, but how well can Stealth?
This time round, and we can spot it, but Stealth did not. He eats the Tiger. He did take Sentinel at level 2 though, but took a lot of free poke from Marauder, who has that rotational advantage. They will get the right and Harpies here, enemy, and Stealth was hurt pretty heavily in that engagement.
No Vampiric Shroud either, so he's really just relying on that health potion sustained. It looks like he may have gone 2 health potions instead of a mana potion though.
And now Weekend going to take a lot of free poke in the mid lane there from the Berserker. Roger Khaos picks up the kill. We'll get answer back a little bit from Stealth in terms of crush damage, but First Blood goes the way of enemy this game. There's fights everywhere.
Great start for enemy. This is exactly what you wanted. This is a composite. This is classic Denial, basically, with their 2v2 at least. Denial loves this Nemesis Raijin combination. It's just so strong. The slows lock you in place, and the potential burst damage is insane.
They've given themselves such a big lead as well now. Both level 4 in the mid lane after getting all the Harpies and the Elementals there as well. And you can see Stealth and Weekend both level 3 at the start of this game with how it began. I'm really worried about Pain this game though, and you mentioned it too, but I don't ever want to see him abduct anyone in this solo lane, in this duo lane.
It's going to be...
Because if he does, you can still auto-attack while being abducted, and that means you're just taking free poke from Erlang Shen or Assault.
Both of these characters can definitely make you pay with their auto attacks if you're going to eat those for free. Erlang Shen gets the double auto attack sort of benefit from his passive, his little doggy helping him out. And this is what you want to do up against a Scylla composition. You want to bully them out early. Make sure that Scylla can't get that farm for free.
Oh, she's still level 4 at the moment. Cascade drums and war sounding. What you want? He's going to hit him with a decent channel of damage. I don't know about that one.
So Khaos right there is waiting for Weekend to throw the hammer, and then he's waiting, and then he's looking for him right away to taunt him into the Nemesis ultimate, and they're trying to get the kill there. But he misses the first shot, and then just kind of agrees to go on to MLC Stealth. A little bit off. I like the idea. It was a little bit risky, and now you don't have that ult.
Left-hand side, though, PolarBearMike picks up PainDeViande. I guarantee you, Abductor was used in that engagement. I kind of called it before it happened. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, double tap from Weekend. Absence back. Khaos is an armor monster. Shattered's in trouble. He's going to juke well here. Stealth buying his time right in the middle, Sunshine. He needs one auto. Root not going to hit the crush. Anyone could hit that.
And then he shows him that he's the monster now. I love that Scylla taunt animation, though. She's so spooky, too spooky for Shattered, in fact. Eats the death, and that's what you expect. I mean, MLC Stealth, I said it. We haven't seen him play it in a while, but who cares, man? That's his character.
3 minutes in, and Allegiance just turned that first blood on his head. They steal away the red buff on the left-hand side now. You saw the Supernova used by Oceans wisely, just to make sure they could bring it down quick, and nobody could respond.
No kill potential in this lane right now. I mean, Supernova doesn't bring the burst damage early on. You really got to wait until you get at least your pen boots and your second item before that's going to start doing the real big damage numbers. So using it to secure that red buff and steal it away from enemy, very wisely used by Oceans.
Marauder trying to do Marauder things and go into the enemy jungle like he likes to all the time, and whenever he's got a dominant god in the lane there. He knows the speed buff is down and the blue still stands, but with Shattered over here, he will be able to soak this. And I think the 2 kills we saw dropped, picked up by Allegiance in the mid lane there, aggro, kind of comes down to that play that they tried to make with Chaos's ultimate.
Yeah, if Chaos has Taiko drums there, those kills probably don't happen. I mean, the player damage there from Chaos very, very high for this stage in the game, but it's Scylla, the quote-unquote weak early game god, sitting near the top along with Oceans.
And now Shattered over on the right-hand side still. He could look to invade this blue buff here. Cyclone has rotated in, and Marauder will be giving calls to let him know exactly where this Sobek is. Don't forget, Shattered has that ultimate. They'll be looking to try and get him into an awkward spot. Still holding his ultimate here, CycloneSpin. And that's the experience of somebody who's been around the scene for a long time, because now he's looking to turn it around.
But the shield for Shattered is available, doesn't use it. Weaken comes here as well. He's used the dunk, looking for the wall. Not going to be able to find it, though. Pluck off the mark, but forces the purification from Shattered anyways.
PainDeViande's on the way with Chaos too. If he can get towards Shattered, can give him a res, but the res is not in range. Shattered's still being chased down. Great stun from Marauder. Will stop that situation, but on the left-hand side, CycloneSpin is in trouble. PainDeViande got the kill. Not the one you really want it to go to, but enemy answer back.
Very surprised to see Cyclone go for that pluck under the tier 1 tower. They didn't know the rotation was coming. Stealth did not go for boots, where Chaos got boots too. He's going to be able to out-rotate the enemy mid laner, and there he shows up and is able to make his rotation count, picks up that kill, or helps Pain pick up that kill onto Sobek.
And Ocean's pushing in a little bit there onto PandaCat will allow Allegiance to get the left-hand harpies for the first time this game. The right ones have already gone down, and as you said, we've got Stealth with the Doom Orb in mid lane now. Those stacks are going to come through and be fruitful as the game goes on.
Very, very fruitful. It's going to help. It's going to turn this late game damage into mid game damage, basically. As long as he's able to stay alive, that's the big question mark, is how well can Stealth position before he's able to get his full boots online? How well can he make sure that he's not going to lose those stacks and lose the farm by dying?
Well, CycloneSpin on the right-hand side here, still level 7. Marauder with a 1-level lead over him. When we talk about leads at the moment, well, there is a small one in the jungle for Shattered over that of his counterpart, Wukong.
Very surprised to see Wukong go for the Thor. I mean, Wukong really has gone away from this character as a whole, even when he was considered the strongest jungler by a lot of North American players.
He's never been seen as the strongest Thor player, though. That's always been a tagline that everyone has had him following around for a long time.
Yes.
Wukong's Thor was never the strongest.
No, but he's out to prove them wrong, I guess, or out to prove everyone wrong. If Allegiance can upset enemy here, I mean, Allegiance is the #1 seed, but coming into this split, it definitely would be an upset.
Stealth in mid lane, taking a bit of poke with the rotation from Shadow coming too. Has to Sentinel away there. The boys of Allegiance were on the left-hand side. There's a pluck, hits Marauder on the right-hand side. Going to take a bit of free poke, and PolarBearMike looking for pins. Not going to find him, but he will find a taunt.
He's looking for Shattered, but the damage is on to PolarBearMike. Wukong now up into the sky. PainDeViande is here. Here comes the ultimate, but it's going to be onto Pain. I love the target switch.
Waiting down on the ground too, and the Supernova from Oceans will clean up the kill. They switch of targets. Stealth showed left, and he went for the right. And now the boys of Allegiance can invade into the jungle again.
What a sick play from Stealth. You know Pain's waiting to use the res onto his teammate. Instead, he needs to use it on himself. Oceans picks up Shattered and the red buff at the same time. Plus, they get PandaCat's bead. This is Allegiance's game right now.
Yeah, the balls are going to go down too. Golf Fury still stands here, but Allegiance may not want to go for this just yet. The respawn time's low enough for everybody to get back in time here. And PandaCat can only just sit and watch and wait for the wave to approach him.
So we talked about how he needs to be careful, Pain that is, about using that res before I'm a Monster is used. But there we see it the opposite way. Stealth uses I'm a Monster to force the reset and then just just lays the crush underneath him. Just, here you go, buddy.
But it didn't kill him, though, overall. It was a supernova that came through that secured the kill for them. On the right-hand side, though, you did see CycloneSpin with that Wrath coming into play, stealing away the speed buff of Shattered. Keeping Shattered down is the key. We said that Shattered had a level lead a minute ago over Weekend. It's a different story all of a sudden, a second or two later.
Plus a level lead now in mid lane for MLC Stealth, a level lead in the duo lane on each of the characters. Very, very good start here for Allegiance. The thing that's standing out to me right now is that Stealth has not picked up Purification, and for good reason overall. There isn't a whole lot of hard CC on the side of enemy. Yep. The problem is that if he gets abducted, we talked about how Pain can't use abduct in the left-hand lane, but if he finds the abduct in the mid lane, Stealth is sitting there for a long, long time.
Well, it depends on how long PainDeViande will, how quickly he'll max the abduct as well, because abduct length does increase as you do max it, and most of the time you don't max it first, you know? You're looking for the damage reduction overall and the wave clear.
You're definitely going to be maxing your 2. It's going to give you more damage, more wave clear, like you mentioned, more damage reduction on your allies whenever you hit them with it.
The root as well, it actually increases the length of duration of the root too when you do max that one. So it's kind of an interesting one of like what you do with Khepri. Right now with Khepri though, you want to run.
He's got to run. There's the pin. He's going to have to use the res on himself very soon. There it is. Weekend forced up into the air. Shattered's ultimate doing some good work. Weekend very low, but Stealth eats Khaos alive.
He ate him alive with the Armor Monster, and Weekend will just get out scot-free as well. Did use the ultimate and hovered in the air. He gave us a bird's eye view of exactly what happened to Khaos.
MLC Stealth, man, it's like he never stopped playing this character. I mean, it's just like before this skin was even made. He's looked phenomenal. He's atop of the player damage charts right now, 2-0-3. Been a part of Allegiance, 5 of Allegiance's 6 kills, and looking great.
Pain under a bit of pressure here with Oceans coming in, going to hit the Scylla burst onto PandaCat, but PandaCat giving as good as he got, forcing a bit of a situation for Oceans there to back away and just respect his fellow opponent.
Both dual lane members look like they want to back here. It's Marauder in some trouble on this right-hand side, forced up into the somersault cloud, actually almost took a tumble there.
That combo was classic old AFK. Like, Weekend wasn't even there yet, and Cyclone set him up with the alley-oop, and it was like, all right, we can finish him. That was classic.
He throws him up for the alley-oop, exactly. That's the perfect terminology there.
Look at me with my basketball terms.
That was good, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
You've been watching a lot of...
I slam dunked that one. It was jolly good. No, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. I'm sorry.
That was awful.
I can't let something like that go for too long. I'm sorry. I try and be good. Oh, was that buff stolen? The abduct, a different story though. PolarBearMike under pressure. Thor in the sky right now, but Mike's very low.
Huge
smash from PandaCat. Oh, we're actually not going to miss it. And Stealth already picks up Khaos. Who's next on the list, boys? Allegiance are routing enemy right now.
Shattered just 1 HP. They're waiting for him, but they pluck Pain in. Shattered may actually get out. He will, but not the I'm a monster from Marauder. He's going to take a ton of damage. Forced into the pin.
Dead, though.
There he goes.
Supernova for Oceans cleans it up, and the boys of Allegiance, they can go for the Gold Fury now.
3 dead, 4 enemy. They've got no way to defend this Gold Fury. Snipes down from PandaCat. I cannot believe that PolarBearMike lived. Yeah. I mean, he hit a huge taunt, pulled 4 in. Weekend came crashing down. All of a sudden, what looked like a great fight for enemy goes into Allegiance's favor, and Oceans did steal away that red buff, man. They haven't had a red buff for enemy since the beginning of the game. If you would have told me that the one team doesn't get their red buff after their first one, I would have assumed it was Allegiance because they've got the Scylla. That's what you do. You bully out the Scylla, right? It's been Khaos on this Raijin who's just been getting abused.
And the funny thing is, at the start of the game, it was the mid lane for enemy that were winning. They got the first blood. They picked off Weekend at the start. But then they seemed to over-aggress. They tried to overplay their hand. And by doing so, Allegiance turned it on a knife edge.
Exactly. Using the taiko drums, was trying to go for the big play. It didn't work out. And then the engagement happened not too long after that, which forced a double kill, basically, in the mid-jungle. CycloneSpin's looked great in this lane yet again on this Guardian. He's been the one who's been the bully. He's invading the speed buffs. He's up 700 gold in 2 levels on Sun Wukong right now.
Just a solid performance from Allegiance right now. They need this one win to go to the Super Regionals as well. They'll meet Dignitas in the group stage along with 2 more teams from NA and 2 more teams from EU. The ones that don't qualify at the Super Regionals straight to the World Championships.
Joining Dignitas in that group stage there, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, but they can't be counting their eggs quite yet. They got to make sure that they're going to finish off this game. They're in a great spot to do so, sitting up over 3,000 gold, huge level leads basically across the board. Not huge necessarily, but a lot of level leads across the board, and that's what's important. And this is with a late game composition. I mean, you're running a Scylla, you're waiting for that damage to come in, and it's already here.
Well, PolarBearMike and Wukong, you look like they've been a pair forever, these two. They're running around together all day long, from what I can tell. They're not far apart, especially with Stealth at the back, just following along like a little lost girl.
So it isn't the same situation as Envy, where these are new players to the scene, to the competitive scene as a whole, as well as new players together. PolarBearMike's been around the block, man. He knows what he's doing. Wukong's been, you know, everywhere. These guys are veterans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously PolarBearMike on the side of the Eager once upon a time, so he's been with some very established pros, and here's an engagement again. Wukong in the sky, and already Shattered is surrounded. One hit from Death, and Wukong's like, thank you, boys, I'll take that one.
And here comes the, it's actually both relics used by Khaos. He's in a ton of trouble. Tycho drums
fear away, though, to live again, but round the back, the Syllabus not going to hit. PolarBearMike still goes in and cleans him up. PainDeViande couldn't even get there with the ultimate in time.
He's got the res, but wasn't there in time, like you mentioned. PandaCat gonna dash in. Pain is gonna eat the wall and double tap, but PandaCat is up in the sky looking for Scylla. Can't find the third shot, but it does dissuade the aggression from Allegiance.
It stops him getting the tier 1 tower. Marauder swinging around the back, only going to meet PolarBearMike and Oceans here, and he won't really be able to find either one of the two of them. And meanwhile, he's just back to farming for enemy. 2 picks again on the mid lane and jungle for Allegiance against enemy.
4,000 gold in the lead now, 11-2. Cyclone actually catches the roll perfectly. Purification forced out there from PandaCat, and that means he's going to be in a lot of trouble up against this composition.
Allegiance just look new and improved, you know? Like, all the players on the team are actually performing to the standard we've seen them all perform at in the past. That's the key here. It's not like their synergy is great or anything. Their individual performances, maybe it's morale. Maybe morale is the big factor here, that they're all feeling it right now.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier. This is still the honeymoon phase for a new team.
That's true.
You know, it's like when you first get into a new relationship, everything's great, there's no issues, and then, you know, they don't tell you you're out of milk, and you start getting into arguments about things like that. There's no arguments right now for Allegiance. Even when they give up the Fire Giant, no one knows, they're able to come back and win the next fight, looking very strong.
Crush hits 2. Oh, that damage onto Khaos from a double tap and a crush was insane. That was like 80% of his health. Left hand side, though.
He's in Stealth still doesn't have any penetration.
That's true.
I mean, that's insane, and Wukong hasn't finished.
Is that Soul Reaver's building now?
It could be.
Wait a second, mid lane Shattered's bursted again, knocked up in place, still rooted, dashes out, dashes back in to the safety as Wukong crashes in one more time. This time Khepri gets the ultimate off, but Stealth is lurking, Stealth is hunting. He's not got a monster today, though.
I like the idea from Wukong trying to get in position to follow up for that I'm a monster. They do get the tier 1 tower, force out that Khepri revive, and there you saw Stealth look so patient with that ultimate. It looked like they could have killed Shattered instantly off that initial route, but he's waiting. He's waiting for that Scarab's Blessing to be used. He doesn't want to have that completely negated. The idea was there from Wukong and Stealth, just a little bit off the mark.
And everybody's just initiating so well on the side of Allegiance. They're all landing their abilities for the most part. And that's actually making Wukong's job a little bit easier in the jungle. Like we say, a lot of people said his Thor was not the greatest thing in his God pool. Well, he doesn't really have to do much if all he's going to do is land an ult.
Exactly, and he's able to do that thus far. Was able to pick up that kill in the mid lane by landing the ult, as well as force out both relics from Khaos in that engagement. And he's just been working together with his team. That's been the big thing for me, is that how well Wukong has been able to continue that synergy with Stealth. I mean, his player damage is very, very close to Stealth. He's only about 1,100 down, and he's looked very good on this Thor.
Well, one team fight will allow enemy back into this game, though, as well. The Gold Fury is available again once more, worth a little bit more this time round as well. And with a Nemesis and obviously the revives from a Khepri here, they do have the potential to win a team fight if it goes in their favor. They've just got to make sure they don't get picked like this right now. Oh, solo kill. No. Solo was pick up with the help of Shattered.
And that's the Wrath down for Allegiance as well. CycloneSpin's the one with that Wrath. Looks like Allegiance do want to respond, pulling this Gold Fury, but with this Soul, they don't really have a good character to tank it up.
I think they could actually give this up here and take tier 1 tower mid and tier 2 tower right hand side here. That would be the right call, but instead, I think they're only going to get a bit of proc onto the tier 2. They won't be able to clear it in time because the teleport's coming, and Wukong's got one as well.
Wukong's here, and he's got ultimate. No ultimate available for Marauder. He could look for the kill. In fact, he is, but Pain is here.
But who's he going to look for overall? They're all trying to hide around the corners, and
he
goes for the crab. And the problem is Scarab now, and there's the damage coming through. The crush is there. Still alive is PainDeViande, but Khaos picked out Weaken. Khaos around the corner gets a lot of free poke off here as his engagement continues.
So that time the patience from Stealth hurt him because the taunt was there from PolarBearMike. There was no way for Pain to get that revive off, and he waits too long. Shatter wants to go back in, goes for Stealth, but he's still healthy.
Monsters available, not gonna hit two. Shatter falls at the back to an in-hand from Stealth. Now Cyclone's here, blocking Khaos, forcing Purification. Round the corner comes Marauder, looking for a Jingu Ban to split the difference. But it's PandaCat out of mana and out of friends. He's gonna fall down too.
That's two dead now. Khaos forcing the Sanctuary just off the mark with the pluck. CycloneSpin could have set up another kill, but it's gonna be another buff invade for Allegiance. 10 kills ahead of their opposition and 7,000 gold.
That was enemy trying to make a decision overall there. I think that's what the problem was from them. They could have taken the tier 2, they could have all-rotated straight there, they could have taken the tier 1. Instead, they lose the Gold Fury, they don't get a tower, and they lose more lives.
Exactly, they just can't get enough off that pick on the right-hand side. The idea was good, but as always, whenever the Gold Fury's up and you commit to the right-hand side, you're probably going to give that up.
Yep.
Enemy doesn't even want to fight into it. We see Khaos just push a mid-wave instead and then walk away. Teleport was available from Weaken. He gets there in time to defend that tier 2, and it goes heavily. Yeah, it was really, really good. Luckily for Enemy, like I mentioned, Stealth a little bit too patient for once with that ultimate, but then the rotation from CycloneSpin in after the teleport was perfect and sets up more kills for Allegiance. Did Weaken just get that red buff again?
I think he did, yeah.
That is every single red buff since the first spawn has gone the way of Allegiance. Even those that enemy's been there for, the last one before this, it was Oceans coming in and stealing it with a Stellar Burst at the last second. That time, Weaken just casually walks up, throws the hammer, and then takes it away.
Sometimes luck's just on your side, though, right? Like, you walk around the corner, you're oh, that buff's really low, I can double tap that, and they don't have any cooldowns left. That's what happens on occasion.
Thank you. That's what Weaken says as he throws it away. Level 19 right now for Oceans. I just realized how far ahead he is of PandaCat. Going for the Bancroft's Talon, a little bit upsetting considering
both carries, mid laners and Hunter carries here are 3 levels ahead of their opposition on the side of Allegiance here.
Yeah.
Enemy have their work cut out this game. They really do now, and especially when you say that, they have their work cut out in a game that they have to win. They have to win.
This is the last chance for them to make it to Super Regionals and then to Worlds. Marauder does have the ultimate available, saving it for now. Perfect pluck. Gonna set it up, but Crush a little bit off the mark, but the root is enough!
Anyway, the root was good, and now the tier 1 tower can be sieged as well. Round the back comes PolarBearMike, keeping Pain at bay. Khaos is turning up, so PolarBear's going to be very careful here, but he's going to get abducted into a dangerous spot. They're going to commit to PolarBearMike, but PolarBearMike's pretty tanky at this stage. He just ate a full Drums of War. He's got a level lead over the mid laner.
Shell, man. You got the level lead, you've got the Shell, no damage there. Cyclone goes for the block, can't find it, but it doesn't matter. He's just zoning out the rest of Enemy. Shattered farming up the back
just
camps.
went to the sky, and he's looking for a target. Who will it be? It was actually Shattered, but Shattered jukes him out nicely. And over the wall, I believe somebody just jumped over the wall to fight him again. It was Stealth who went in as Weaken went out.
Stealth blinked. He's got Blink Scylla right now. He blinked in. He was trying to make the big play. Wasn't able to find it, but it doesn't matter because the tier 2 tower falls for Enemy. 10,000 gold in the lead. Pain, I hope he likes that particular spot on the map because you're going to be there for a little bit.
Well, at least 1.3 seconds. Next patch, that's all it'll be for the time being anyway. Allegiance looking at what they can do next. They could bait the Fire Giant if they so choose. There's wards around, or they could just commit to it.
They've got the Wrath, and I don't know if Enemy's going to be able to get here in time. No ultimate for Khaos,
Zone duty
PandaCat does have it.
PolarBearMike going to get knocked up to buy time for Enemy to get in here, looking for a steal away. Fire Giant goes the way of Allegiance, and they may be going to Super Regionals just off the back of that one.
CycloneSpin gonna chase down Pain. He's got the Lurking in the Waters, plucks him back into the team. Nowhere for him to go. He's stuck up on the wall. The res may save his life for a little bit. They won't even pop it. Oh, Oceans, come on, man. It was just about to fall off.
Weaken gets the kill. 2 members of Enemy are dead. The speed buff about to die too. Marauder, Shattered, and PandaCat against the Fire Giant army of Allegiance that are marching down towards mid.
I mean, this was the roster. This is the dream scenario when you complete this roster, right? If you're Allegiance, it was we're going to have a ton of mechanical skill. We'll work on the synergy whenever we make it to Super Regionals, but it isn't going to be that easy. It looks that easy right now for them. We're sitting 21 minutes in, 5 members of Fire Giant. They've got 17 kills to Enemy's 4.
And instead of just going for the push even heavy onto the Phoenixes, just chip away. They realize how important this game is, so let's take Gold Fury, let's strip their jungle, let's take all the towers down, just like any other game.
And that was a ballsy call to go for Fire Giant there as well.
I mean, 20 minutes as well.
20-minute Fire Giant. You've got 3 members right in your face, possibly even 4 there, I think, from enemy.
They still carried on.
And they still were able to get it. They pick up Khaos. Khaos uses Thunder Crash to try and make the play, but wasn't able to grab that Fire Giant objective away from Allegiance. Then that's a lot of trust in your new teammates to make sure that they're going to zone correctly, they're going to secure it correctly, and it pays off.
Well, enemy going to return the favor by taking a tier 2 tower on the right-hand side here. You saw the speed buff stolen away from Shattered there, away from Weaken. So they do strip a bit of the jungle on the right-hand side of things for the time being, enemy. But PandaCat is in a bit of trouble here.
He's got the Winged Blade for Cyclone. Cyclone actually has a speed buff as well, so he's definitely going to catch PandaCat. Just being a general annoyance, hoping to force out a relic or two, both available for PandaCat. He's going to, yeah, there's the purification.
That's a great win. And that's a win because look at where his team were on the map. He was just buying his team time to come back from base with their new items, group up as a unit, and start to siege down some of these Phoenixes.
And realistically, PandaCat is in a little bit of danger there to CycloneSpin alone. Yes. I mean, Cyclone's level 20. He's got the ultimate that's going to do a ton of damage to him. So the purification probably not needed, but you can understand why he would think he needs to do that.
But he had Marauder with him as well, so I don't think he should be worried too much about that overall.
Maybe, but he's still 3 levels down to Cyclone,
I guess.
Yeah.
And Cyclone keeping him busy while the rest of his team take the final tier 2 tower on the map on the left-hand side. Allegiance's gold lead has shot through the roof now in 23 minutes in this game. This is a rough position for an enemy fan, but as an Allegiance fan, you've got a grin on your face right about now, boys.
It all started with that Scylla pickup, and it's been continued from there. Pin into the double tap from Weaken. They're going to be sieging down this right-hand Phoenix.
And taking the time about it too. Keep an eye on Cyclone and PolarBearMike. They'll be initiators. And talking about that, into the sky goes Weaken as the pluck already happened on Marauder. His Suncloud is now down. To the backside goes PolarBearMike now. And Mima Monster comes through, but not going to find a home. Instead, he's abducted in. Khaos and PandaCat looking to combine with the snipes and the drums of war. But still, Allegiance stand tall. They pick up a kill. PainDeViande is dead.
And Ocean's is still pretty healthy. About half health left. Phoenix falls. No ultimates available for Allegiance. Pain never even got the revive off. Died with it in his pocket. No beads for PandaCat.
And no life for PandaCat as Oceans takes him out again. The second Phoenix falls. The final Phoenix for Allegiance is now going to be looked at. They can take this third one down. Minions will pour in from everywhere. CycloneSpin has been plucking for days.
And now the Titan is being looked at. Allegiance could be your Gauntlet winners. Blink Scylla not going to get that kill, but the Titan is falling fast. It's going to be Allegiance winning the North American Gauntlet. They're going to Super Regionals.
They had the easiest path in the Gauntlet, though, to give them credit. They were the #1 seed, but there was a reason they were the #1 seed, and they showed it there. Enemy fall out of the competition. Their year is over.
24 clean minutes from Allegiance.
It's crazy.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I think a lot of people had high expectations for this team, but for them to come out and look as strong as they did right away, really impressive. I mean, the teams that are going to Super Regionals, we've got all of them now. We know everyone who's going to be there, and I guarantee that they're all looking at Allegiance and thinking about how they're going to have to play against them, because it's not going to be, just some free win.
Well, the only team that has to definitely play against them is going to be Dignitas. That's confirmed. True. The other 2 teams are still up for debate. You'll find out more about that Super Regionals as well going forward. It's basically the losers of the semi-final games for the qualifiers for Worlds will go down into that group. So hopefully, you want to make it anyway, so you don't have to face them in the first place.
Exactly. So if you win your semi-finals groups, you are going to immediately go to Worlds. And you're going to play in the finals for seeding possibilities, but you're guaranteed your World spot, and you don't have to worry about anyone in the groups. You don't have to worry about Dignitas. You don't have to worry about Allegiance. None of that stuff. So those teams that have qualified through the group play by placing top 2 at the lands here in Atlanta definitely set themselves up on the right foot.
And Allegiance as well. I mean, we discussed Allegiance overall with the grand scheme of things and how their trials and tribulations of the season have gone for them. Weaken did just replace 3 members of the roster with him in Stealth. They both decided to do that, and the roster additions have worked out for them. They've proven that decision overall, maybe they could have done it without it, but it still worked, Agro.
And that was the big talking point, was that they felt confident that they could make it to Super Regional still, but they didn't feel confident in their World's chances. They're probably feeling a lot more confident right now. I mean, enemy, you can make the debate about whether or not that was anything like the team that placed well at DreamHack Masters, that placed second place at the Epsilon Invitational. But at the end of the day, that's a team with a ton of talent on it. That's a team that had 2 world runners-ups last year that you just completely dismantled.
I agree. There's the standings for you. Allegiance win the Gauntlet. Enemy knocked out just by them. And nobody the first ones to fall down there is Most Wanted with a surprise showing and pretty good performance from those boys.
Yeah, we saw a Challenger Cup team actually take a set off of an SPL quality team, and then Most Wanted kept the roll going up against Envy is taking game 1. Envy came back, won both games consecutively to face Enemy, and Enemy looked just as good against Envy as Allegiance did against Enemy. I mean, they really just put their foot on their throat and stomped them out instantly. And that was probably Enemy coming in with a lot of confidence against Allegiance, and Allegiance still were able to look like that.
Enemy still have the same old issues, it seemed. That was the biggest problem for them. Picks and bans was, once again, we've said a lot about picks and bans about Enemy, been really suspect sometimes.
Yeah.
Showed again in that set.
First pick Nemesis, not the play. Not the play there.
Yeah.
With Erlang Shen up, I just don't understand.
And here we have it. It's finally all filled in for you. Eager versus Denial, winner goes to Worlds. Saw versus Luminosity, winner goes to Worlds. Orbit versus Obey, winner goes to Worlds. Energy versus Sanguine, Energy goes to Worlds. And then we've got Dig and Allegiance in the group play to face off against everybody else who loses those games, which will be filling out our Super Regionals.
So many awesome storylines here for Super Regionals. I mean, looking at the first set of North America, top left corner, Eager versus Denial, this is Zapman's chance to get to Worlds. He's never played in a World Championships. He's only got to win one best of 5 set to get there. Soar versus Luminosity, Scrim partners, 2 very close teams. Baskin and Anister versus Barracuda and Jeff Hinla. Orbit and Obey, can Ataraxia and Obey finally get over the hump of a top 2 team, or can Orbit really solidify themselves as the best team in Europe? And then Energy versus Sanguine, David versus Goliath, who's going to come out there. Your BM aside, I am looking forward to that set.
It should be a great set overall then. It's not really being bad, it's just realistic if we know what Energy are.
Wow, doubling down on the BM.
At the same time though, when I actually do look through these rosters and the teams, there's very, very few of these players now. We're getting to only a handful that have been to all 3 World Championships that still have the potential to go again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Soar and Luminosity, they're the ones that have like the most, basically. It's been Barracuda, Jeff Hinla, Baskin, Anister, and now MLC Stealth, the last member of that Season 2 Cloud9 group, has secured his spot at Super Regionals.
And in Europe, I believe it's just Captain Twig that has the shot on the side of Obey to go for 3 in a row. I don't think
really? Did no one from Orbit?
No, because he didn't go first year.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Twig can be the only hope for EU.
I mean, everyone knows the Twigs at every land.
That's true. Well, what I will say is that Stealth had such a good game on the Armor Monsters. We should take a little look back at some of those Scylla plays that he made in that very last set to get himself to the Super Regionals.
This was the play for me. I mean, I just love the target switch after the immediate purification. Such intelligent play, and you could probably see me like bouncing up and down in my chair. I was so excited whenever Stealth locked this in. Here, Crush, who cares about that? I've got my Sikkim, picks it up on Marauder. He just looked so strong on a god that we haven't seen him play competitively in quite some time.
It's been a crazy season overall. It's still not done though. Like we said, the Super Regionals is the next thing on the list, but at least it's all filled out now. The year has come to a close for the regular season and the extended season, but the Super Regionals, the shot for Worlds is still on. Crazy.
And now it's go time, man.
Yeah,
Now's the time that it gets really, really fun. These are the best teams in Smite. They're all going to be here. They're all going to be here in Atlanta for Super Regionals. End of this month. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Well, if you want to go to the World Championship, some of these teams will go with you. Make sure you buy your tickets now. You can get them at 25% off if you use the code Gauntlet over at hi-rezexpo.com.
Great value, man. Can't pass it up. It's a free 25% off. Use the code. Also, come to Gauntlet, or come to the hi-rez expo.
Why did you just read off everything I just said? You just said the same thing
I said it way cooler than you.
No, you didn't. You just went blah, 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 blah.
So much cooler. My read, 10 out of 10. Your read, like 4.5 out of 10.
Get me out. I'm done.
F6.
Yes, please. F6. That's it for us at hi-rez Studios for this week. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all the games. Next weekend, however, don't forget, we do have the console Super Regionals taking place. That starts on Friday. More information to come on that, but Friday through Sunday will be the console Super Regionals to work out which teams from there will be going to the World Championships as well.
I'm excited to see some of my console brethren. My old teammates are coming. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yes, all the scrubs together in one house next weekend because Agro's going to lead the charge. Have a wonderful evening. We're out.